I was not going to be afraid to lose a man, a friend, a family member. When I was losing sleep, I was losing my appetite, I was losing the will. I understand the block button might not be for everyone. However, I press the block button on my phone and in real life. Welcome back to Be Empowered with me, your host, Empress of Emotions. Over here, we are snatching our power back, learning how to master our emotions so we can get out of survival mode and into thrive mode.
Say,
I'm kicking this off immediately. What is one way you have learned to maintain peace? Now, I'll admit I was not always very good at maintaining peace. Sorry, I had to take a sip for the cause. I was not always good at maintaining peace. I didn't always have peace. Having peace, being able to maintain peace now, that was something that made me even want to do this because it became very important to me to share with other people the fact that it's very possible to have peace, the fact that it's very possible to have the life that you want. And I'm not talking about the materialistic life that you want. That's possible too, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way you want to feel, the way you want to be treated, the way you want to treat yourself, the way you want to think. That kind of peace, the kind of peace that allows you to sleep very restful at night. You're not just closing your eyes and sleeping, wake up exhausted. You are at peace. You rest. Your mind can rest. Your heart can rest. Your body can rest. Your nervous system can rest. You're not constantly overthinking. You're not constantly worried about what people think. Who cares what people think? That's their time to think whatever they want to think. That's really none of your business. Let them do what they do. If they have nothing better to do than think about you, okay. I have walked through the fire to get to this point where my peace cannot be disturbed, even if it was someone's life's mission. I know what it's like to have my peace so disturbed that pleasing other people, thinking that that would make me happy, that would maybe make them want to make me happy, complete me in some way, fulfill me in some way. Yeah, that was a lesson I had to learn the hard way. So I was having a conversation on Instagram. The conversation was just flowing of shared experiences. And then this question came up. What what's one thing you do to maintain your peace? And I've never really thought of this question before, although it's something I've definitely put into practice. But it was a question I could answer so easily, like water off a duck's back. It made me smile being able to answer this question. I also had a lot to say in answering this question. So the only thing that I had to kind of observe about myself was to just rein back the excitement and answer the question as clearly and concisely as I possibly could. This is why I take the time out to record these videos so that anyone that may be feeling that they're struggling with the same types of things, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're constantly having conversations about the same thing, you're reaching out to people that you feel like, why do they not care about how I feel? Why do they not care about how they make me feel? These kinds of videos are for you specifically. If you're the scapegoat, if people always point the finger at you as the scapegoat because you probably don't speak up for yourself, if you do speak up, you can probably just about be heard. How do you maintain your peace? How do you maintain your peace? Sometimes stating a boundary is not going to cut it. Sometimes saying I protect my peace is protected, I protect my energy isn't going to do it. So I'm going to read you my answer to this question. I love this question and I could type for days, but I learned to maintain peace by observing what was disturbing it. That observation was a wave of stages, with blame being the most turbulent, followed by guilt, mixed in with some shame. The calm came when I observed myself only and made the decision to always and forever be accountable for what I was allowing, but had the cheek to complain or be upset about. Hey guys, it was at this fateful moment that I realised my mic had died on me. So I'd been recording and there had been no sound. But let's get back to my answer. I refuse to disrespect my own divinity by going against myself when I feel or think that which does not serve me in any way. I divorced victim mode. I willingly sacrifice anything or anyone that threatens my peace because faith replaced fear and discernment replaced ignoring my intuition. I know I never lose, but that I could lose me. So I follow the good feelings. It's my path paved with gold. What I love about this question is the answer. Because even though I'd never thought about this question, I'd never been asked this question, it was so easy for me to answer. It just flowed off my thoughts. It just flowed off the tip of my tongue. I enjoyed answering this question because it gave me a moment to really reflect on how have I been able to maintain this peace? How is it that I can go and share with you how you can grab your power back, get you some peace and maintain it? It's possible. Get rid of the intrusive thoughts, get rid of the patterns because you have patterns. It might be quick for you to identify patterns that you see in other people, if you're even identifying patterns in other people, but you have patterns. You have instances where not only do you need to learn how to say no to other people, you also need to learn how to say no to yourself as well. No to the self-sabotaging, no to your own patterns. That could be the ways that you think, the things that you know you need to do and you're not doing it, the things that you say you're going to do and you just don't do, but you find excuses which you turn into reasons not to do, the things that you say you're going to do for your self-care and your self-love, but you probably do it tomorrow because you don't have enough time now. Whatever it is that you have said you are going to do for you, in the ways that will cultivate your peace, in the ways that will add to your peace that nobody else can do but you. Too much of the time, there's this thing of wanting someone else to come in and swoop in and save us in ways that nobody should have to come in and save you. It's nobody's job. It's nobody's priority. It's nobody's purpose. It is nobody's responsibility other than yours to save you. When is this man gonna ride in on his horse and save me? When is the person that's put in all of the work and all of the time and all of the blood, sweat and tears to get to a point where they've gotten to, and because they've gotten to that point, they should just give me opportunities? Why? Without you doing any of the work because you happen to know somebody who's doing well, they should just give things to you. Why is it that you think you deserve anything and you haven't put in the work? Why is it that you think that you even deserve peace and you haven't put in the work? There's this way of just expecting and wanting things without actually putting in any work. This everything is a life of ease. Of course you can have a life of ease, but you have to put the things in place. You have to implement the things in your life so that your life will be a life of ease. One of them comes with cultivating peace in your life. One of the favorite parts of my answer is I willingly sacrifice anything or anyone that threatens my peace. And I carry on, but I'll come back to that part. I understand the block button might not be for everyone. However, I press the block button on my phone and in real life. I will not stand for anyone feeling comfortable with messing with my peace. But more importantly, I will not stand for me settling, not doing anything about when my peace is disturbed other than to complain about it, other than to overthink about it, get upset about it. No, no, because I can do something about it. I have the power, the means, the tools to do something about it. And if that means I have to cut off a family member, if that means I have to distance from a friend, if that means I have to put myself in some form of isolation so that this person understands you can't do that around here. I don't accept that type of behavior or treatment around here. That's my responsibility. It's actually not their responsibility to treat you how you want to be treated. It is your responsibility to teach people how to treat you. And it is your responsibility to make sure that if you are not being treated in the ways that you want to be treated, that you make it clear you don't accept anything less. And if you do, then the only place you should be complaining is in front of a mirror. I remember I went through something really difficult. Nobody should have to go through it. I'm laughing now, but you'll understand why. And there was an older lady that I was talking to at the time that was just a soundboard for me to vent to explain how I was feeling, what I was going through, what was happening. And, you know, speaking to an older person, you think you get some wisdom, a different level of empathy and understanding. And on one occasion, this lady simply said to me, just get over it. Just get over it. Now, that weren't it. And at the time, I was like, who's she talking to? She talking to me. She can't be talking to me. She was talking to me. And yeah, of course, our relationship was not the same after that. Because when anyone is going through something, there is a way to talk to them. There is a way to navigate, getting to that point of get over it. And it's simply how you choose your words. There are so many other things she could have said to say that. And there is a plethora of tones she could have used to say that as well. But I remember that, and it doesn't serve for you to constantly complain about situations you can change. The people in your life will listen, but that doesn't mean they enjoy listening. The real people in your life that truly care about you will also want you to find a solution. And I believe that she wanted me to find a solution. That was what she meant. But her delivery was trash. Let's just say she didn't have to tell me twice that she was fed up of hearing me talk about the same thing again and again and again. I got the message, and I made sure she didn't have to hear me mention anything again. My point is, when it comes to how you know you are being treated unfairly and you don't do anything about it, there is nothing for you to complain about. That is a sign and a clear indication that there is something happening here that you need to address. And if you don't address it, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So for me, to distance myself or cut people off, it's been like gold dust. Honestly, it's been like gold dust, because it's something I had been thinking about and wanting to do for so long. But you know, you think people will change, you give them chances, you have the same conversation again and again, and maybe they improve and things improve for like a day or two, and then it goes back to the same crap. So instead of focusing on their patterns, I had to focus on the fact that, okay, I've got patterns here as well. I keep talking to them about the same thing. I keep hearing them say the same thing. I keep talking to them about the same thing. The pattern is there. You play a part. You're not just an innocent bystander in this. You play a part. And the part that you play is your pattern. Now, when I first started putting these practices into my life, I got people throwing in their judgmental two pence. Oh, but you can't do that. Oh, but you shouldn't do that. Didn't ask. Didn't ask. Didn't ask. And not only did I not ask, but I also have released caring what people think or what they're going to say. That has to be the most crippling dis-ease that some people have out here. What are people going to think? What are people going to say? Who cares? Who cares? Some of you care too much what people are going to think and what people are going to say. What do you think? What do you say? That's what you really should be thinking about. What do you think and what do you say? What do you want? How do you want to feel? Because if this is not how you want to feel, then do what will give you the result with what you want to feel, how you want to live, who you want to be around, how you want those people to treat you when you're around. Some people don't even like you being around. Some people want to dictate who you need to be and how you need to be just for you to be around. What's that? Those are not your people. The last part of this was, I willingly sacrifice anything or anyone that threatens my peace, because faith replaced fear and discernment replaced ignoring my intuition. I had to have unwavering faith that in making the best decisions for me, knowing that my intentions were just to make the best possible decisions for me, had nothing to do with anyone else. Therefore, how anyone else feels about it is got nothing to do with me. But I had to replace what people will say, what people will think, who will judge because they haven't got anything better to do, how people will feel because I didn't put them on notice, because I didn't give them a warning, because I had given them 50 million warnings before in all the conversations I tried to have. So now that I'm just simply going to do what is best for me, what I need to do for me, that's all I need to concern myself with. That's all I need to focus on. And that's where the faith came. So I had no fears. And my literal only thing that I refused to lose, listen, I was not going to be afraid to lose a man, a friend, a family member. When I was losing sleep, I was losing my appetite, I was losing the will. Ever since then, I have not thrived or felt more free in my entire life that I have spent on this earth. If there is anything you listen to, please let it be this. Identify your part. Identify the part you play in allowing people to feel so comfortable to disturb your peace. Now, when you take out the allowing people to feel so comfortable at disturbing your peace and you insert the part you play over all of that, even if it's just keeping quiet so you can keep the peace, and you do something about it, that could be just taking a step back. Just seeing what happens by taking a step back. Use the next 7 days to take a step back and listen to your intuition. Get in tune with how you really feel, how your body really feels in certain situations, what types of thoughts immediately flood into your head when you are faced with certain situations, when some things are said to you or done to you. What sorts of thoughts come into your head? Spend the next 7 days observing those thoughts. And because most of the time those thoughts will not be very nice, they will usually be negative self-talk. Have a sentence ready to deflect that, to start to rewire your own way of thinking so that you can begin to thrive. There was no way I was going to continue to put up with certain things. And there is no way you should continue to put up with certain things. How long are you going to allow yourself to remain in survival mode? Use discernment. When you use discernment and you start to think, If I did that, would that be okay? If I said that, would that be okay? If I behaved like that, would that be okay? Probably not. That's discernment. So if it wouldn't be okay if the roles were reversed, then why are you allowing it and accepting it as okay for you? When things don't feel good, that's an indication for you that there's either something for you to learn here, something that you need to change immediately here, and if you don't, it's just going to get worse. So, what do you choose? What are you going to do? Are you going to do something about it? Or are you going to go back to your pattern of complaining about it and talking to anyone that will listen? That's another thing to stop doing. You know that energy flows to where your focus is, okay? So if you're talking to this person and then you call that person and you call the next person and you're talking about the same thing, you're giving that thing more and more energy. So you're going to see and feel and experience more of that thing. Most of the time you're not even looking for a solution by talking to 2, 3, 4, 7 people. You are just wanting to talk. Having been through something and then you carry it throughout your life, you have to tell everybody, oh, this happened to me, so that's why I am the way I am, that's why I think the way I do, that's why I'm full of insecurities, that's why I have low confidence. Come on, come on. Sometimes you don't say those things, but what I'm saying is by constantly walking around with this story that you've got, that's what you're giving off. You're giving off lack of discernment, lack of self-care and self-love, lack of knowledge of self, lack of confidence, and lack of self-esteem. It's just lack. And you have people that will exploit that. You have people that will be completely turned off by that. And you have people that will just not have time for it. They'll just not be interested in it because off the bat they can see you got a lot of work to do. You've got a lot of work to do. So instead of sitting down talking about the same thing again and again to 11 people, talk about what your part is. Talk about how you can make changes. If you want to see changes, this is one of the things. Isn't one of the most well-known songs, Man in the Mirror? You've got to start with you. If you want to see change, if you want to see it in the people around you, in the world around you, in your friends and family and circumstances and environment, you have to change. Think of all the times you've ignored your intuition and you regretted it. That's exactly what you need to ensure you don't do anymore. If you have experienced that more than once, ask yourself why you keep putting yourself in that position to experience it again and again and again. I always say people know exactly what they're doing. They just hope that you don't. And that even if you do, you won't call them out on it. You don't have to call them out on it, but you should call yourself out on it. You should call yourself out on why you're not going to do anything about it, why you're just going to allow it, why you don't feel like you can do anything about it, why you don't feel like you deserve to do anything about it. Listen, when I'm making my exit to the left, it's mostly in silence because I don't need to explain anything. People know what they're doing. So if you said something, done something, especially if it's something that you thought I would never find out, I am a lover of truth. So if I know your life is a front, if I know you are as fake as the GMO food that they've got people eating these days, and you think I'm going to sit down with you and your fake self and maintain this illusion just so you can look a certain way to other people, I can't do that. I gotta have some dignity, some integrity about me. I have to, because only I can answer for myself. And if I'm around that type of energy, then what does that make me? That's my responsibility. It doesn't make sense for me to say, oh my gosh, they're this, they're that, they da 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 da. All I have to do is remove myself. That is all I have to do. Over the next 7 days, love yourself enough to be honest with yourself enough to see, observe, understand, and put a stop to what is disturbing your peace. No more sleepless nights, no more lost appetite, no more losing your health and your beauty over things that do not serve you, no more overthinking, no more self-sabotaging. Just remove it. Remove it. Identify it and remove it. It's not necessarily comfortable. It's not. It's not. But if you want a life of ease, that is just so trendy right now. I just want a life of ease. I just want a life of ease. Just want a soft life. You get a soft life by putting things in place. You have to implement certain things into your life to be able to live a soft life with ease. So remember, health is wealth and emotional health is the ultimate freedom. If you enjoyed, don't forget to give a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Thank you.